Even away, still train hard.
How beautiful that is. It was just a freaking quarter of an inch. Now it's half an inch. And we should come out here every morning, Michelle. Heaven's coming up. I think someone's lots of babe, tell me.
Beautiful weekend in Virginia. Back to the grind. See, even on vacation, I'm putting shit out. Hard work, right? Like, right? Lead, don't follow. Lead, don't follow. See that sunrise this morning? Like God coming out, the light. Two things that are never late in life is the moon and the sun. The sun and the moon, I mean. Sun first, because it's always on time. All right, people? So be on time out there. You know, do your thing. Nip it in the bud. Whatever you got to do. Don't have no problems out there. Always, you know, think 10 steps ahead. Don't think for the moment. Because 99.9% of the time, next day is going to come. The next year, the year after that, the year after that. If you know about life, and you lived it, you've experienced it, whatever, and you know what happens, and that's on you. And weak people give up. All right? Weak people give up. And it's not a knock on people at all. I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just telling you. Remember Norfolk, Virginia. So Virginia Beach. Atlantic Ave. The first street right next to the beach, Atlantic Ave. Very beautiful. And the kids, you know, had a great time, and that's what it's all about. That's what this vacation was for. It happens at the beginning of the summer for the kids out of school, right? The week that they get out of school, they have one last AAU tournament from April all the way to June. You know, these kids don't stop. They don't give up, these kids. You know what I mean? And very impressive teams out there. Impressive players. But the only problem I have is, you know, I know you need to face better opposition to get better at anything in life. Like when I was young, I was playing versus older kids, which made me better. You know what I mean? And in a lot of cases, better than the older kids. Eventually, you just get better. You know what I mean? If you really have a passion for something, you're going to get better at it. You know what I mean? No matter what it is. If you have a passion for it, you'll get better at it. If you stick with it, you'll get better. Obviously, no matter what you do in life, you're going to get better at it the more you do it. Okay? So if you go back, watch, even Joe Rogan will say this. Joe Rogan. Now listen, I know people don't like Joe Rogan out there. I never even knew who Joe Rogan was. And he taught Taekwondo or something, or karate, one or the other. He taught it at Boston University. Now, I like him because he speaks his mind. He ain't scared to speak his mind, but he has empathy. He agrees to disagree, or disagrees to agree. One or the other. I don't mind doing the same thing, because everyone has a right to their opinion, and there's nothing wrong with people's opinions. I just think people are off, and that's just my opinion. You know what I mean? So everyone has their own opinions. Just don't knock people's opinions. Just say, hey, listen, it's not what I agree with, but it's okay. You're right. You have the right to your opinion. Maybe they're right. You know what I mean? Maybe they're right and I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So you don't know unless you know. See, I know what I've lived, so I know like what's, survived the most violent times in the era I grew up in, the 80s and 90s. The 90s were more violent, but the 80s were violent, and the 70s were violent. I mean, we were in fights in first grade. Where I grew up, I mean, honestly, no bullshit. It's just the way it was. In the 70s, it was different. In the 80s, it was different. The 90s was different. So every 10 years, there's a difference. Because the 70s were different from the 80s. The 80s were different from the 90s. And the 90s were different from the 2000s, at the beginning of 2000. But then at the beginning of 2000, 9/11 happened. So I was like, what the hell's going to happen next? You know what I mean? But my kids are okay. My wife's okay. And I hope my family's okay out there. I don't know, because no one talks, no one says nothing. There's no appreciation. There's nothing. So I don't care about that shit right now. That's the last thing I'm worried about right now is my family. On my side of the family, I'm not worried about that. They're adults, they're grown people, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But it's very ignorant, it's very disrespectful, just the way people talk. I don't care. Talk's cheap. It always has been. Like I say, nip it in the bud. People that talk shit, just nip it in the bud. Bang, bang, bang. Do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? Because you do the pressing, they press the charges. So you know what? Try not to even think like that. But the real, brutally honest truth is, right, is you have to nip it in the bud. Because if you want respect, you better earn it. You know what I mean? I've earned my respect 1,000,000 times over. And maybe not 1,000,000 times over, but a whole lot over. Thousands and thousands and thousands times over. I can't even count how many times I've had to earn my respect since I was a kid. It's just too long of a list. But I've earned mine. You don't earn your respect overnight. No way. Don't happen overnight. Don't happen in 1 year. It happens over tens and tens of years. Consistently. You can't be something for one day and then not be that person 50 years later. Because then you're a phony. You know what I mean? You're a fake. So, I hate to say it, but you're a fake. You know what I mean? If you're not the same person you were when you became a man between 25 and 30. Because you don't become a man at 18. Your brain don't mature till you're 25. And I thought I knew it all when I was a young kid. And a teenager, I thought I knew it all. The honest God truth, I didn't know it all. I knew the streets. I knew that. I knew people. I knew the psychology of people. I knew that. So I know people's agendas. You know what I mean? It's all good. He who last best. And you don't have to sell your soul to last best. And that's the main thing, people. Don't sell your soul. Be yourself. Be real to yourself. Be true to yourself. And don't give out no freaking advice unless you can help. You help yourself, then you can help others. But if you don't help yourself first, how can you help anyone else? So help yourself first. Think of yourself first. I know I might sound selfish because I'm the most least selfish person on this planet. I think anyone that knows me really good knows I've never been a selfish. I've always given. I didn't mind giving. I just like, if I was having fun, everyone was having fun. And people that know me, that's true out there. So I just like to give. It makes me feel better. Money should be the 5th thing on your list of 10. Okay? Very important. Money is very important. But, like people say, if you work every day and it's not work, it's something that you love to do, so you're doing something, so you don't work a day in your life. That's a very true quote. So be passionate about something. Do it, right? Invest in yourself. Don't make someone else rich. Okay? Unless you have the same goals. Then you make each other rich. And everyone gets rich. Slice the pie 5 ways. Make sure everyone's happy. If everyone's happy, you get a great community. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, community, people. There's no division in this country. When shit happens in this country, we all come together. And that's one beautiful thing about America. It's a young country. It's 400 years plus years old. With us colonialists, colonialized, or whatever you want to call it. All our ancestors come from different countries. So we're all immigrants, people. So remember that. Before you start pointing fingers and saying they shouldn't be here, they shouldn't be here. Well, you shouldn't fucking be here either. But guess what? You're here because your ancestors came here and gave you a future. So don't ever talk shit about other fucking immigrants and stuff like that, because we're immigrants. We're born here. But our ancestors, they're immigrants. So I don't look down on the immigrant, because I know Class A plus immigrants, awesome people. They come here to embrace America, not to exploit it. And I'm not saying I never made no mistakes out there, people. You know, tax-free money, that's all I thought about when I was young, okay? But then you get to a certain age, you have kids, you have to think about legal money, okay? You have to have legal money coming in. Or you start your own business, and then you become a legal business. One or the other, you know what I mean? Just figure it out. You can figure it out. Sit back for a weekend. This is why, well, I was going to go anyways, because it's my son, because we went to Hampton Beach a couple of years ago. This last year has been a hectic year for everybody, right, across the world. So there wasn't no, you know, going away tournament, you know, go to another state for tournaments, for the last weekend of the tournaments. No, we did it here in Quincy. But my son played basketball throughout this whole thing. High school, did really good in sophomore, led the league. I think he led I'm sorry, not the league, but led the team in scoring. And the whole team did well. The whole team. And I think this year they're going to be a lot better, because I see them playing summer league, and it's pretty good. They're pretty good. And if they just play like a team, they'll be great. They'll be great, because they're all talented, every kid out there. And you know, Steve, shout out to you, Steve. Shout out to the AAU people, the one that runs AAU Butler down there in New Bedford, Fall River. You know, you didn't say, you know, representing Quincy, 617 Boston area code, because 4 of these kids are from Quincy, which is 617 Boston area code, people. Because we're connected, two cities connected. But great people who run the AAU Butler. I like you guys a lot. Very good people. Honest. There's no faking it, you know, with you people. That's what I love about you people. And we had a good time. The kids had great times. That's all that matters. It's all about the kids. Have a great day out there, people. I'll see you guys tomorrow for some training. This was just this past weekend, Friday, this morning. Got home this morning. Just got home. Peace, people.